Were you involved in a personal injury accident and you're wondering how much it costs to hire a personal injury attorney? Check out this short video to learn more. Hey everybody, Barry here with the Lawful channel. On this channel, you're going to find short videos on the legal topics that affect your life. If you haven't already, would you subscribe to our channel? And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section below. If I can't help you, I'll try and find someone who can. Now, let's get into the video. A lot of people will call my office after they've just been in an accident, and they often have the same question. How much is it going to cost me to hire you for your services? I'm always a little surprised by that question because I thought it was common knowledge about how personal injury attorneys bill for their services, but apparently it's not, so I'm going to tell you about it right now. The first thing to know is that unlike business attorneys or divorce attorneys who charge $400 or $500 an hour, personal injury attorneys do not work that way. Instead, we work on what's called a contingency fee basis. So what's a contingency fee? It means that we only get paid if our client recovers, either through a settlement or going to trial and winning. And how much do we get paid? Well, it's a percentage of the gross settlement of the recovery. So what's the percentage? Well, typically what you see is that personal injury attorneys charge about a third of whatever the gross recovery is, 33.3%. But I've seen personal injuries charge anything from a third to 30% to 40%, and sometimes even higher. And also note that if the case goes to litigation, meaning a lawsuit has to be filed, the attorney fees might go up. So that's something to check about before you sign on the dotted line. Hey, make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to answer a question I get a lot, which is, are personal injury attorney fees negotiable? So what are some of the positives of working with an attorney on a contingency fee basis? Well, one is you don't have to pay an hourly rate, and you don't normally have to put down a retainer of $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 or whatever that is. That's a big benefit because the vast majority of the people I talk to, they can't afford to pay on an hourly basis. They definitely can't afford to put several $1,000s up front. They're not business owners. They're individuals who are involved in car accidents. But there are some cons to contingency fees also that I want you to be aware of, and that is, it's a lot of money, right? You're probably thinking a third of the gross recovery and I have to pay my medical bills out of my settlement. It's a lot of money. Well, the reason is attorneys who take fees on a contingency fee basis are taking all the risk. Because if there's no recovery after 18 months of investing time and money in the case, then the attorney's not going to get paid. And that's why they charge so much in terms of a contingency fee. And I should point out, since I brought it up, although it doesn't relate to attorney's fees, in addition, personal injury attorneys, generally speaking, will cover all the costs of the case up front. So you don't have to pay for depositions, investigators, getting the police report, all those kind of things. The personal injury attorney will pay for those also. They'll just get reimbursed for those things when the case is resolved. Okay, two other things to know. One is, when you sign up with a personal injury attorney, make sure it's in writing. You're going to agree to sign a document. It's generally called a retainer agreement, and that sets forth the relationship between you and the attorney. Make sure that retainer agreement is crystal clear about the percentage that you're paying the attorney. I've heard of cases where people have hired personal injury attorneys and there's no retainer agreement, and then they're sometimes surprised at how much they're paying. That's a big mistake. Make sure there's a signed written retainer agreement. A lot of us do these retainer agreements over the internet now, electronic signed, but it's important to read them and not just skip through them and sign it. Make sure you know what's in that document. The second thing to know about the retainer agreement is that I would assume most attorneys' retainer agreements is something called an attorney lien clause. And what that means is that your attorney has a vested interest. He has a stake in your case. Now, it's normally not an issue, But I have seen some situations where after 18 months, the attorney negotiates a $100,000 settlement or whatever, and then the client will think, okay, I've got the offer, I can terminate the attorney. Well, it doesn't work that way. The attorney has a lien on your case and can take steps to try and recover his or her attorney's fees. So make sure you see if your retainer agreement has an attorney lien clause in it also. Okay, I mentioned earlier that I would discuss whether personal injury attorney fees are negotiable. Now, personal injury attorneys don't like talking about this, but generally speaking, sure. I mean, they're negotiable. You can try at least to negotiate with your attorney. We don't negotiate our attorney fees because it's kind of a Pandora's box. Once you start charging everybody different fees, it's just a big mess. But some attorneys do. I might be skeptical of an attorney who's willing to charge a really low fee. That might raise a red flag for me as to how good that attorney is. But to answer your question, generally speaking, you can try and negotiate your fees with a personal injury attorney. Okay, it's time for your take on the law. Did you hire a personal injury attorney and you were kind of surprised by how much the attorney's fees were? Tell us about it in the comments section below. All right, everybody, thanks for checking out this short video on personal injury attorney fees. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And listen, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. If I can't help you, I'll try and find someone who can.